Do you like playing 10-10s? How about 12-12s? What about 24-24s while beating other competitive decks? Well, I got the deck for you. Cithria Dragons. I've played over 90 games with different variations of Cithria Matron combo. This deck is my favorite version of it, and I think it's one of the more competitive versions, and I'll talk a little bit about why. So, Spectral Matron Cithria combo, super fun, double up your board, challenger, take out their board, win the game. Great. Only problem is you need a board to win the game. An 8-8 or a 12-12 and a 10-10 that are going to potentially die after their attack will not win the game on their own. So that's where the dragons come in. Dragons, particularly Shyvana, Screeching Dragon, and Dragon Guard Lieutenant, help you build a good board position in the early and mid game so that when you play your Spectral Matron combo, you're not too far behind and you can still crush your opponent. I also like the Masked Mother Darkwater Scourge combo over Radiant Guardian. Radiant Guardian, in high-level play, it's very easy for your opponent to play around it, and you'll have very few opportunities to get off its 4-5 lifelink status. While Masked Mother Darkwater Scourge, you need to draw both of them for them to work. It's much easier to make it work on turn 4 with Oblivious Islander or turn 5 than it is to get Radiant Guardian to hit on turn 5 against an opponent who knows what they're doing. The 7-7 Fearsome Lifelinker will win you a lot of games against aggressive decks and will help stabilize boards against decks like Aurelia, Thresh Nasus, and Dravenez. Comboed with cards like Single Combat, your life total is never going below 16. The other interesting inclusion in this deck is Oblivious Islander. I've played a lot of versions with this deck, with and without the Islander, but I like the Islander when you're playing Darkwater Scourge. It's a way to get your Masked Mother Darkwater Scourge combo on turn 4. I also really like it with Lieutenant and Laurent Protege. Because these are challengers, you're kind of planning on them dying anyway, and getting the mana discount is really huge. The 2-1 body is also quite useful against some of the super aggressive decks on turn 1 and help keep your life total healthy into the mid game. Let's talk a little bit about spells. Stalking Shadows is the best card in this deck. It helps a lot with your 2-card combos with Masked Mother and Darkwater Scourge, as well as Spectral Matron and Cithria. It lets you find the card that you're looking for at the right time, and it also combos really well. The extra ephemeral version can be eaten with Masked Mother, and you lose the ephemeral negative part about the card. Glimpse along with Vile Feast help you shut down some aggro strategies and draw cards for your combo. And Single Combat just works amazingly with Shyvana, Screeching Dragon, and your Masked Mother Darkwater Scourge combo. It's also good with Darkwater Scourge when you don't draw Masked Mother. Rounding out the deck, we have Egghead Researcher. He's a great blocker against both Nasus Thresh and Azirelia for the early game, and it helps make sure you have a dragon for your Dragon Guard Lieutenant. He also helps in games that are more attrition based at getting you more dragons that are going to help you in your long game. Let's talk a little bit about your matchups. Aurelia and Nasus Thresh seem like they're a little tricky, but they're actually not that bad of matchups. The key thing with Azirelia, your dragons and your Masked Mother Darkwater Scourge combo really take over the game. The biggest thing you have to worry about is their homecoming. Their homecoming can buy a lot of tempo. So ideally, you want to try saving Single Combat when they homecoming a target so that your creature or ally doesn't get returned to your hand. Foul Feast is also really important. It helps you combat duo and also just helps you with tempo while giving you a target to glimpse. Spectral Matron and Cithria are less important in that matchup than all your other matchups. Against Nasus Thresh, you're trying to survive. Your Spectral Matron Cithria combo are often going to give you a board that is going to be bigger than Nasus. Make favorable trades wherever you can, protect your life total. Ideally, you're hoping to get your Spectral Matron Cithria out before their Nasus is bigger than 10-10. TLC is a bit of a rough matchup, especially if they run multiple runations. You kind of just have to play into it and hope they don't draw it, because if you don't put enough pressure on, they'll just combo off on turn 8. So that matchup kind of comes down to, did they draw Ruination or not? If they don't, you'll likely win. Dragons, ASOL version, is a really good matchup. You have similar early and mid games, but your Spectral Matron combo will just destroy their board, and even if they have an ASOL, you're going to have a 12-12 or a 24-24, and they can't do much about that. Dravenez, so again, your creatures or allies are better than theirs, but what they can do is they can gain tempo from killing your medium and larger size units and combo those with stuns as well as tri-beam. Really big tri-beams will win them the game. So your strategy here is to go as wide as possible so they can't get chip damage. And if once you're able to play your Spectral Matron combo, you pretty much win out from there. As well, you're looking really hard for your Masked Mother Darkwater Scourge combo for the 7/7 lifelink. That's going to keep you stabilized and make it almost impossible for them to win. In terms of mulligans, you're looking for Shyvana is an always keep. Lieutenant, even if you don't have a dragon, it's usually a keep, really helps against Fearsome. And Stalking Shadows is always a keep. Foul Feast is really great against Azirelia. Spectral Matron and Cithria, you are rarely keeping these, except in some of the slower games like against Dragons and TLC, where you really need to see them sooner rather than later. Screeching Dragon, if you have good early game, you're often keeping. And Laurent Protege, you're also often keeping. Oblivious Islander is a sometimes keep. It depends if you have the other key cards in your hand or not. He gets exponentially better when you have things like Darkwater Scourge and Stalking Shadows in hand. Let's take a look at some games. This first one is versus Nasus Thresh, so I'm looking mostly at stalling his early game, keeping the Stalking Shadows and all the early drops. Shyvana's a great pickup. So yeah, this looks pretty good. I discount the Dragon Guard because I don't really want to discount anything else. Might have been a mistake, but I really want to get the 2-1 in just so I can block right away, and the 3-2 is probably going to trade the turn I play it anyway. We've already drawn our Matron and Cithria combo, so right now we're just looking to stall the game. The Screeching Dragon's probably the right pick here, but I take the Matron because I already have a lot of mid-game options, and I'm just like, YOLO, let's make this play a bunch of Cithrias this game. And I challenge his 4-3 to prevent some damage. This turn is a pretty easy Shyvana. My opponent's not too aggressive, so things are looking good here. No Vile Feast to interrupt that. I would have played it if I had it. But yeah, he's not too aggressive. He's playing more of a slow game that's looking for a big Nasus and Atrocity. So I've got a Dragon here. No rush. He doesn't have a lot of slays, so I'm just gonna grow the dragon and yeah, prevent him from drawing cards as well. He's already down to 3. That Thresh is nowhere close to leveling. Here I don't have a lot to do with my hand, so draw some cards. Dig for more options. I've got my Masked Mother combo, which is great. I've also got a single combat, which is also going to be good for killing Thresh if I need to, especially with the Masked Mother combo. So at this point, we're like really sitting pretty, and we're only one turn away from our combo, so we don't need to force any aggression, and we pass here since him not doing anything with 7 mana is great. We don't really need the life. And now we're able to combo. Doesn't matter if he has Thresh or Atrocity. Our board is huge. His Nasus is not going to be big enough, and we can just slowly chip away at him. He understands, so he concedes. This second match is versus Aurelia Azir. So here, not a great hand to open, but we want to keep a dragon because the dragons are so key to, dealing with tokens and putting pressure on his key threats. Not looking good here. The Masked Mothers aren't good alone. We don't have much to do early, but the Vile Feast can be super useful for stalling things out. Combat trick is pretty useful, but not right now. So we're just trying to kill that to stall. That's a little scary that he's able to save it, but it's one less card for him as well. That's a pretty good draw. The 1/3 is going to do a lot of work here. Here I'm kind of deciding, do I want to play a Masked Mother or Dragon Dude? Uh, I decide to play Egghead. Just it's a better body. This was a hard decision. Um, Having 2 Masked Mothers in hand, I definitely will not need both. So I decide not to block here, so that I can use Masked Mother next turn to make a 3/5, which is going to be a lot more useful against his board, which ended up being a good choice since we drew a 3rd Masked Mother. Um, yeah, and we can even consider playing another Masked Mother for a 5/7. Um, but it's a little bit scary against Homecoming, so I decide not to, and just get in for some damage. And we're able to keep some spell mana, a little more spell mana up for later turns. He doesn't do anything on his turn, so he's not developing either. Now here we have our combo, which is awesome, but our life total is not super low, and we also have 3 dragons. The dragons are going to deal more with the board over the next few turns, and they're not as weak to Homecoming as the combo is. Plus, the combat strike is going to, or the single combat is going to help the dragons grow to be able to deal with the bigger threats if he plays them. So I just decide to, work on his board. My life total is above 10. I know it's Aurelia, so they can take big shots. And then, we have a Homecoming. Single combat is really important at stopping the Homecoming. And we decide to go after his 2/1 rather than Aurelia for the tempo. We already have a dragon out. He doesn't have anything that's going to buff his tokens, so him playing blade tokens is not scary at this point, and us having to pay another 5 mana to play the dragon again would be more of a blowout. So luckily that goes off. He doesn't have a Nopa 5 for it. And things are looking a little bit better. Um, yeah, and we're happy to, you sometimes you can play a lot around stone shaping, uh, but they're gonna play it eventually. It's sometimes better for them to play it early rather than late, so we offer up both of these. If he has 2 stone shapings, well, he's down to 2 cards. If he has 1, He has to decide what he wants to save. So he does end up having two, but now he doesn't have a lot of threats left. He only has Aurelia, and we still have two more dragons. So again, life total's high. We play another dragon to kill Aurelia before she levels up, rather than um, gain a bunch of life. We wanna cut down on his threats. We're not really worried about stabilizing our life total yet. It's still quite comfortable. And yeah, we don't take the pass. We want Aurelia to die if possible, or use up his tricks as well. Like this, the duet isn't really a problem either. It's just giving a dragon one more power, and we're taking one. So yeah, this game it's going fairly well. He's we've able to neutralize a lot of his threats, and he hasn't drawn Azir or Marshall, which helps a lot. This is a good opportunity for us now to play our combo. He's played a lot of his spells, so we're not worried. We're less worried about him having another homecoming. And before we played that, he didn't really have a great homecoming target either. Even if he does play homecoming now, he's not getting like massive tempo with it. So yeah, things are looking good. The other masked mother isn't super useful in our hand, but and he's just switching his guys around for the fun of it. The Islander's kind of a dead draw at this point. We can at least use it to draw some cards off of. Here, it's an interesting decision. I wanted to get a wider board. That's why I did the matron with the dragon, rather than just the dragon leaving mana up. We don't really need Cithria at this point. We're pretty far ahead. We just want to eat away at his threats as much as possible. And we use the ephemeral one on Aurelia because that's the one that's more likely to um, not not be used. Yeah, so not much to say at this point. We're just far ahead in cards. That extra single combat means like we can kill the Marshal, no problem. We're way ahead in life. He's pretty low. He's got two cards left. Um, this game's over. We're just making sure we don't make any mistakes that are going to give him opportunities. So he surrenders, and that's it. Thanks for watching, and check out my stream Monday to Friday at Twitch TV /Erigby. Thanks.